You wake up again. It's 2:37 a.m. The house is quiet, but your mind is not. You glance at the clock, sigh, and roll over, hoping sleep will come back. But it doesn't. Your legs twitch. Your back aches just enough to notice. And maybe it's the bathroom calling, again. You're tired, truly tired, but your body feels like it's forgotten how to rest. If that sounds familiar, you are not alone. And today, we're going to change that. Here's the truth most people don't talk about. Sleep isn't just about feeling rested. It's how your body heals. How your brain sorts memories. How your heart, your muscles, your immune system, all stay strong. And if you're over 50, 60, 70, 80, quality sleep is non-negotiable. It affects how clearly you think, how safely you walk, how patiently you love. Every good night of rest is a gift, not just for you, but for the people who love you. Your spouse. Your children. Your grandchildren. Your future. So what if I told you that what you're drinking before bed, even if it's just water, could be one reason you can't sleep through the night? And that there's something better. Something simple. Something natural. Not a pill. Not a tea. Not an expensive supplement. Just one easy change, a bedtime drink, that could help you finally stay asleep, and wake up refreshed. And yes, you might already have it in your kitchen. But first, let me ask you something. What keeps you up at night? Is it pain? Worry? Bathroom trips? Racing thoughts? Tell me in the comments below, I really do read them. And while you're here, make sure to subscribe to Everyday Ageless, because here, we believe that growing older doesn't mean growing weaker. It means growing wiser, and making every year the healthiest yet. Let me introduce you to someone, Margaret. She's 72, sharp as a tack, still drives herself to church and her book club every week. She told me once, I fall asleep just fine. It's staying asleep that's the problem. Maybe you relate. Margaret said she'd conk out by 10 p.m., just like clockwork, but by 1:30 or 2 a.m., her eyes would fly open. Sometimes she'd need the bathroom. Other times, her knees would ache just enough to pull her out of slumber. And sometimes, there was no clear reason, just that stubborn, frustrating wide-awake feeling in the middle of the night. That kind of broken sleep, night after night, starts to chip away at you. You wake up groggy, your energy dips in the afternoon, and your memory, that sharpness you once relied on, begins to feel foggy. Now, here's something most people don't tell you, waking up during the night isn't just a part of getting older. That's a myth. Yes, it's common, but that doesn't mean it's normal, or inevitable. As we age, several things begin to shift in the body. First, your melatonin production naturally declines. That's the hormone that helps regulate your sleep-wake cycle. It tells your brain, hey, it's time to rest. But in your 60s, 70s, and 80s, your melatonin signal gets quieter. That means your brain doesn't stay in deep sleep as easily. Then there's the bathroom issue, and let's be real, most people don't want to talk about this, but it matters. Your bladder becomes more sensitive, and your kidneys don't concentrate urine the way they used to, which can lead to more nighttime trips. Add in achy joints, back pain, or that stiff hip that acts up when you lie still too long, and it's no wonder sleep feels interrupted. But perhaps the sneakiest culprit? Blood sugar. Yep, even if you're not diabetic, your body may struggle to keep your blood sugar stable through the night. When it dips too low, it can trigger cortisol, your stress hormone, to spike, which wakes you up. That 2 or 3 a.m. wake-up call may actually be your body saying, hey, I need fuel. All of these small changes add up. And yet, many older adults are told, well, that's just aging. But I want you to know, that's not entirely true. Aging might be part of the equation, but it's not the whole story. And more importantly, It's not hopeless. So what can you do about it? Start with this: track your wake times. You don't need a fancy sleep app, just keep a little notebook on your nightstand. Jot down when you go to sleep, and when you find yourself awake. Over a few nights, you might start to notice a pattern. Maybe you always wake up around 2:15. That's a clue. It can tell you something about your sleep cycle, your blood sugar, or even your fluid intake. Awareness is the first step to change. You can't fix what you don't understand, and your sleep story might be telling you more than you think. Now, if those wake-ups tend to hit right in the middle of the night, like clockwork, let's take a deeper look. Because something else could be stirring behind the scenes. Something very specific, and very fixable. Ready to find out? Let's keep going. Let's talk about Frank. He's 65, retired, and active, still hikes a little, helps out at his grandkids' soccer games, and plays guitar in a local church group. But for months, Frank thought he had insomnia. He told me, "I'm not stressed, I'm not anxious, but I keep waking up in the middle of the night like someone flipped a switch in my brain." He'd fall asleep just fine, but somewhere between 2 and 4 a.m., boom, wide awake. Sound familiar? Well, when we dug a little deeper into Frank's routine, we uncovered something surprising. It wasn't anxiety, it was blood sugar. You see, even though Frank wasn't diabetic and didn't consider himself someone who needed to watch his sugar, his body was still doing something very common at night. While you sleep, your body keeps running, your brain, your heart, your cells, they all need energy. And if you haven't eaten enough, or if your blood sugar naturally dips too low during the night, your body panics a bit. It releases cortisol, your stress hormone, to wake you up so you'll seek food or stimulation. That's biology, not brokenness. So Frank wasn't actually suffering from classic insomnia. His body just needed better fuel to get through the night. Now, here's the important part: you don't have to be diabetic to experience these overnight dips. That's a big myth. We often think blood sugar only matters if you have a diagnosis, but in reality, stable blood sugar is one of the keys to better sleep, more energy, and clearer thinking, for all of us, especially as we age. Our metabolism changes with age. You might process carbs a little differently than you did at 30 or 40. And while that might sound a bit discouraging, it's actually empowering, because once you know that, you can do something about it. So here's a simple tip that helped Frank. And it might help you too. About 30 to 60 minutes before bed, try having a small, balanced drink that combines a little healthy fat, a little protein, and just a touch of slow-burning carbohydrate. Think warm almond milk with a dash of cinnamon and a spoon of collagen. Or a tiny scoop of nut butter in chamomile tea with a splash of oat milk. Nothing too heavy, just enough to give your body a gentle fuel source through the night. No sugar spikes. No crashes. Just calm, quiet energy to carry you from bedtime through to morning. So if you're someone who consistently wakes up in the wee hours, not because of noise or pain, but because you suddenly feel alert, your blood sugar might be trying to tell you something. And now that you know, you can begin to respond with kindness. And speaking of kindness to your body, let's talk about something a lot of us do without even realizing it's working against us: drinking water right before bed. That brings me to Julia. She's 78, full of life, and fiercely independent. She keeps up with her garden, volunteers at the library, and she's even learning Spanish online. But sleep? That's been her struggle lately. "I thought I was doing everything right," she told me. "I don't snack late, I go to bed around the same time each night, and I always drink a full glass of water before bed." Now at first glance, that seems healthy, right? Hydration is good. We all hear that message constantly. But here's what was happening to Julia, and maybe to you too. That full glass of water at 9 or 10 p.m. was almost guaranteeing she'd wake up twice a night, once around midnight, and again around 3 or 4 a.m., to use the bathroom. It disrupted her sleep cycle, made it hard to fall back asleep, and the next morning she felt foggy and irritated, like she'd run a marathon instead of resting. The thing is, yes, hydration is absolutely essential, especially for brain function, energy, and even joint health. But when you hydrate matters. As we age, our bladder becomes more sensitive, and our kidneys don't concentrate urine quite the same way they did when we were 30. So if you're drinking large amounts of water too close to bedtime, your body might not be able to hold on to it overnight. The result? More trips to the bathroom. More sleep interruptions. More mornings that start off tired. Another common myth is that all hydration is created equal, that tea, water, fruit juice, or detox drinks are equally helpful. But that's not true. Some drinks, especially those with caffeine, high acidity, or even hidden sugars, can actually stimulate your nervous system or irritate your bladder. And that's the opposite of what we want before bed. So here's a better approach. Hydrate consistently throughout the day. Think of it like feeding a plant a little bit at a time, rather than flooding it all at once. By dinner, your body should already be well hydrated. Then, an hour or two before bed, if you want something warm and soothing, choose a drink that supports sleep, not disturbs it. One that relaxes your muscles, balances your blood sugar, and doesn't overstimulate your bladder. We're about to dive into exactly what that drink looks like. It's simple, natural, and it could be the difference between tossing and turning, and waking up rested. So let's reveal what to drink instead. Now here's where it gets exciting. Because we didn't just guess or go by trends. We tested this. A small group of seniors, folks between their late 60s and mid-80s, tried 3 different bedtime drinks for a full week each. One was a classic herbal tea blend marketed for sleep. One was the old-school favorite, warm milk with a little honey. And the third? Well, that was something special. The third drink was a blend of warm tart cherry juice, a pinch of magnesium, and a scoop of gentle protein. Like collagen peptides or a bit of Greek yogurt blended in. And guess what? The third drink came out way ahead. Not just for falling asleep, but for staying asleep. These folks reported waking up fewer times during the night, feeling less groggy in the morning, and even having more vivid dreams, a good sign of deeper REM sleep. Now, why did this one work better? Here's the science in simple terms. Tart cherry juice is a natural source of melatonin, that lovely hormone that signals to your brain, it's time to sleep. It also has antioxidants that help reduce inflammation, which is huge if joint pain wakes you up. Magnesium, especially in forms like glycinate or citrate, is a well-known calming mineral. It relaxes your muscles, supports your nervous system, and helps lower cortisol levels. And that protein boost? It keeps your blood sugar steady through the night. We talked about that with Frank earlier. Together, it's like a gentle trio, calming your body, soothing your brain, and keeping your internal engine fueled just enough until morning. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but wait, isn't warm milk and honey the go-to-sleep drink? It's a classic, sure. And for some, it does bring back comforting memories. But here's the catch. Honey is sugar, and if you're using more than a teaspoon or 2, you could be unintentionally spiking your blood sugar. What happens after a spike? A crash. And that crash, you guessed it, can wake you up just a few hours later. So, while warm milk might be helpful, adding the wrong sweeteners can backfire. That's why the cherry magnesium protein combo worked so well. It's balanced, gentle, and designed to support your sleep cycle naturally. If you're curious to try it yourself, here's a simple recipe you can follow. Heat up about 4 to 6 ounces of unsweetened tart cherry juice, not the kind from concentrate, if you can help it. Stir in 200 to 400 milligrams of powdered magnesium glycinate or citrate, those are gentle forms that tend to absorb well. Then, add a small scoop of collagen peptides or half a tablespoon of Greek yogurt stirred in if you like it creamy. Optional. A sprinkle of cinnamon or nutmeg. It smells like a cozy evening. You don't need much, just enough to create that nourishing, sleep-friendly signal to your body. And when this becomes part of your bedtime ritual, your body starts to anticipate rest, instead of resisting it. But let's pause for a second, because what if your problem isn't staying asleep, but falling asleep in the first place? That's where I want to introduce you to Peter. Peter is 68, recently retired, and one of the most thoughtful people you could meet. But Peter had a phrase that stuck with me: "I'm wired but tired." Know that feeling? You're exhausted, your body wants rest, but your mind is racing. You lie down, hoping to drift off, and suddenly you're mentally reorganizing the garage, thinking about old conversations, or worrying about tomorrow's errands. That was Peter's nightly pattern. But when we took a closer look, we discovered something powerful. Peter wasn't just dealing with stress. His nervous system was stuck in overdrive. And when your nervous system is constantly firing, it doesn't matter how tired you are, your brain won't let go. So here's what we did. We didn't go to sleeping pills. That was Peter's first instinct, and it's a common one. But often, what your body really needs is a signal that it's safe to relax. That's where nutrients like magnesium, glycine, and compounds that support GABA come in. These are the calming messengers in your brain. They tell your system to slow down, your heart to beat more gently, your breath to ease up. Magnesium we already talked about. Glycine is another gentle amino acid that helps with both sleep and body temperature regulation, great for anyone who runs hot at night. And GABA, your natural brain brake, is what helps shut off the mental chatter. Peter added a simple nighttime drink rich in magnesium and glycine, and, here's the important part. He paired it with just 5 minutes of a calming breathwork routine. Nothing fancy. Just a simple inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6. Sometimes he'd stretch his arms gently over his head while breathing, or do a bit of chair yoga. Within a few nights, his sleep quality improved, not because he forced it, but because he signaled to his body that it was finally safe to let go. This is where a lot of people miss the mark. We think we need a stronger pill, a heavier blanket, or more screen time to wind down. But sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is bring your body and brain into harmony, with a warm, calming drink, and a few minutes of stillness. So before you reach for a sleep aid, try this combination: a magnesium-rich drink, low lights, and 5 minutes of slow, mindful breathing. You might be surprised by how quickly your body responds. Of course, not all drinks are created equal. And in the next section, we'll look at what to avoid before bed, even if it seems healthy on the surface. But for now, just imagine what it would feel like to truly ease into sleep, not with force, but with peace. You deserve that. Now, before you start sipping anything before bed, let's pause and talk about what not to drink, because believe it or not, this is where so many people accidentally sabotage their sleep. I want to tell you about Linda. She's 74, one of the sweetest souls you'll ever meet, and she's been trying everything under the sun to sleep better. Her routine included a cozy cup of herbal tea every night, something labeled soothing, with flowers and roots and all the calming words you'd expect. But even with that routine, Linda kept waking up restless and even had trouble falling asleep in the first place. After a closer look at her tea label, we discovered a big surprise. The blend included green tea extract and ginseng, both of which are natural stimulants. That soothing tea. It had hidden caffeine and energy-boosting herbs meant to perk you up, not wind you down. And Linda isn't alone. Many so-called nighttime drinks actually include ingredients that work against sleep. Green tea, for instance, is often praised for its antioxidants, which are great during the day, but it still contains caffeine. So does yerba mate, guayusa, and yes, even certain relaxing chocolate drinks or cocoa powders, which might seem harmless but can stimulate your nervous system and raise your heart rate just when you're trying to quiet down. Then there's acidity. Some drinks, like citrus juices, tomato juice, or sodas, even sugar-free ones, can irritate your digestive system or bladder, leading to more bathroom trips and disrupted rest. Even healthy kombucha and some sparkling waters can have surprising amounts of caffeine or fermentation byproducts that your body has to process while you sleep. Here's the takeaway: read your labels. Don't assume that because it says calm or natural, it's good for sleep. Look out for caffeine, high sugar, acidic ingredients, and any energizing herbs. As a general rule, try to avoid anything too acidic, caffeinated, or sugary after 7 p.m. Instead, stick to warm, neutral drinks that are gentle on your system and aligned with your body's need to settle down. Remember, the goal is to support your body's wind down, not sneak in a second wind. And now that we've explored what to drink, and what to avoid, let's talk about something just as important as the drink itself: your nighttime routine. Let me introduce you to Mary. Mary is 83, lives on her own, and swears she's sleeping better now than she did in her 50s. Her secret? She turned her bedtime drink into a ritual, and that made all the difference. Mary told me, "It's not just what I drink, it's how I do it." Every night, she warms her drink, lights a little candle, plays soft music, and settles into the same cozy chair by the window. That 20 to 30-minute ritual became her signal, to her brain, to her body, that it was time to unwind. And you know what? That rhythm, that sense of safety and repetition, told her nervous system, "You're safe now. It's okay to rest." There's actually beautiful science behind this. The brain thrives on patterns. When you create a consistent bedtime routine, even something simple like dimming the lights, sipping a warm drink, brushing your teeth, and playing relaxing music, your brain starts to anticipate sleep. The more often you follow that routine, the easier it becomes to transition into deep rest. This is called sleep conditioning, and it works at any age. One myth I hear all the time is, "I'm too old to change my habits." But friend, let me tell you, your brain still has plasticity. That means it's still capable of learning, of forming new connections, of changing patterns. You're not stuck. You're not too late. Whether you're 55, 75, or 95, you can teach your body to relax again. Here's how to start: choose a consistent wind-down window, ideally 30 to 45 minutes before bed. Use that time to disconnect from screens. No scrolling, no bright lights. Pour your calming drink, turn on some soft instrumental music or nature sounds, maybe stretch gently or take a few deep breaths. Light a candle or use a diffuser with lavender oil if you like. The point isn't perfection, it's consistency. It's about sending a clear message to your body and brain: the day is done. It's safe to let go. You might be surprised by how quickly your system responds. Within days, many people notice they're falling asleep faster and waking up less, not because they're forcing themselves, but because they've created the right conditions for rest. It's not just about a drink. It's about creating a moment of peace, something nourishing and beautiful you look forward to each evening. And when that drink becomes a signal, a comforting, predictable part of your nightly rhythm, sleep starts to feel less like a battle and more like a blessing. Now that we've talked about habits, drinks, and routines, let's zoom out. Because this conversation isn't just about sleep. It's about something much bigger: your health, your independence, and your joy in this next chapter of life. I want to pause here for a moment and speak to something deeper, something beyond the science, beyond the tips, beyond the nightly routines. Because if you've made it this far in the video, I know you're not just looking for a quick fix. You're looking for relief. For peace. Maybe even for a little reassurance that you're not alone. I know what it's like to feel frustrated with your body, to feel like it's working against you when all you want is a good night's rest. The nights feel long. The quiet can feel heavy. You glance at the clock and wonder how you'll function tomorrow, how you'll keep up, how you'll stay sharp. And underneath it all is that quiet fear we don't always talk about, the fear of losing independence. The fear of slipping out of control. The fear of not being yourself anymore. If that's you, please hear me when I say this, there is still so much within your power. You are not broken. Your body is not your enemy. You don't need to give up on restful sleep, clear thinking, or peaceful mornings. You are capable of healing. Of adapting. Of aging powerfully, not passively. It might not happen all at once. But one small change, something as simple as what you choose to drink before bed, can be the beginning of something bigger. A better night's sleep. A brighter morning. A clearer, more energized version of you. When you get quality rest, everything else gets better, your mood, your memory, your movement. That clarity, that steadiness you've been craving. It starts here. And you're not too old. You're not too far gone. You're still teachable, still adaptable, still wonderfully alive. You just need the right tools, and the right support. That's why we're here. And if you're watching this not for yourself, but for someone you love, a parent, a spouse, a grandparent, I want to thank you. Because this journey isn't just for the person who can't sleep. It's for the family who loves them, the caregivers who show up day after day, the adult children who want to help but aren't sure how. This video is a way to start that conversation with love, a gentle, natural step you can take together. Not with pressure or pills, but with intention, support, and care. You might even make that bedtime drink together, sit quietly and breathe, talk about your day. Because healing isn't just physical, it's emotional, too. So let's bring it all together now. Everything we've talked about, from blood sugar balance to bladder triggers, from calming nutrients to ritual routines, it all leads to the same beautiful goal, rest. Real, deep, healing rest. And you deserve that. You always have. So let's quickly bring everything together. You now know that waking up in the middle of the night isn't just something you have to accept as part of aging. It's a sign, a signal from your body that something can be tuned, supported, and changed for the better. We looked at how your blood sugar might be dipping overnight, quietly waking you up even if your mind feels calm. We talked about how water, though essential, can work against you if it's timed too close to bedtime. We explored calming nutrients like magnesium, glycine, and the power of protein to stabilize your system and nourish your nervous system. We identified the hidden stimulants lurking in so-called bedtime teas, and how acidic, sugary drinks can interfere with deep rest. And of course, we talked about the most powerful bedtime drink, the one that's natural, gentle, and proven to support your sleep from the inside out. The truth is, the right bedtime drink doesn't just hydrate you. It supports your hormones, your muscles, your brain. It tells your whole system, you are safe now. It's okay to rest. So now I want to hear from you, which of these tips are you going to try tonight? Will you test the tart cherry and magnesium drink? Will you start winding down 30 minutes earlier, turn off your screens, or create your own little bedtime ritual? Tell me in the comments below. I read every single one, and your story just might help someone else watching feel a little less alone, a little more hopeful. If this video helped you, if it gave you insight, or comfort, or even just one thing you want to try, I'd be so grateful if you gave it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to Everyday Ageless, so you never miss new ways to feel better, sleep deeper, and live fully, at every age, and every stage. This is a community where we believe aging isn't about decline. It's about refinement. About becoming more intentional, more joyful, and more vibrant with every passing year. You deserve rest. You've earned peace. Let's make tonight your best night's sleep yet. And before you go, I want to leave you with something special. A quote I've always loved: sleep is the golden chain that ties health and our bodies together. That's by Thomas Dekker. And it's true. Sleep is the silent medicine your body craves, the daily renewal that makes everything else possible. So treat it with care. Protect it like you would your most prized possession, because it is. Here's a surprise wellness tip you can try tonight. add 1 tablespoon of collagen peptides or glycine powder to your warm milk, oat milk, or cherry drink. Not only does it help calm your nervous system, but it also supports joint health, skin elasticity, and muscle recovery, all while you sleep. It's a gentle multitasker that works while you rest. And just to inspire you a little more, I'll share this short message from one of our viewers. John, in Ohio, 84 years old, he emailed last week and said this one bedtime drink, combined with a little breathing and no screens, changed everything for him. I sleep through the night now, he said. I haven't done that in over 15 years. That's the power of small, consistent steps. That's the heart of what we believe here at Everyday Ageless. Coming up next, we're diving into the #1 morning habit for seniors that reverses brain fog and helps you start your day sharp and energized. You do not want to miss that one, especially if your mornings feel slow, stiff, or scattered. So stay with us, stay curious, and keep showing up for your health, because you're worth it. Until next time, sleep well, take care of yourself, and remember, the best years of your life can still be ahead.